Hey guys! Today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I talked about this in the last video and I'm actually going ahead and here we are. So today I actually wanted to do a tutorial. So this is for knitting. It's an upcycle project, and for those of you who are not familiar with upcycling, it's essentially you take used products that would otherwise be trash and you turn them into something usable. So it's like recycling, but better. Alright, so today what we're going to be working on is a shopping bag, a plastic shopping bag, reusable bag that's actually made out of old shopping bags, just like the cheapo plastic things that you get 50 of every time you go to the store. Okay, so all that you need for this project is you need some plastic bags, you need scissors, and you're going to need some knitting needles. So I actually chose to use circular needles. You can use straight ones, you can use circular ones. I just like having, just being able to go back and forth. So, first is cutting the bag. For this particular project, I'm trying to keep it all pretty much the same color. You can switch it up as much as you like, though. So first you want to just check and make sure there aren't any gaping holes in the bag anywhere. And once you know it's good, this is how you're going to cut it. You start off, just flatten out the handles and just cut right below the seam. Okay, and then come down to the bottom, flatten it out. And you do the same thing, just cut the heat seam off. Okay, and if you have pets, don't leave these around. Cats will eat them, dogs will eat them, and it'll get all kinds of tangled up in their intestines. Just don't leave them around. Alright, and then once you have this, top is open, bottom is open. Most bags, if you look closely, on either one side or both sides, they're going to have a seam down the edge. And so you don't really need to follow the seam, it's not a big deal, but it just helps to give you a nice straight line. Alright, so now what you have is a flat sheet of plastic. And what you're going to want to do with this is just kind of cut it into a zigzag pattern. Alright, so you see I cut a strip that's, about 1.5 to 2 inches wide. And you see I come down and about 2 inches from the edge, I stop my cut. And then you come back the other way. So you can kind of see the pattern that I got going here. So it's one long strip that just squiggles back and forth. And so I tend to do about half of the bag at a time. The reason I don't do the whole thing at once is just because it makes it a little easier to get tangled and so forth the more length that you have. So, oh, and also if you have any tiny little tears in the bag or any cuts, just try and work them into your zigzag. Just try and place them where your cuts are going to be. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting this half of the bag, and then we will get right to the knitting. Okay, so now that I've cut it up, I'm going to show you how to attach it and start knitting with it. So as you saw a minute ago, I have already started this project, so I'm not going to be showing you how to cast on or anything like that. And to give you an idea of how much a single bag will give you, this is about a dozen bags right here. So you can see this is about 50 stitches. This is a size 10 needle. And yeah, I mean this is definitely wider than your standard shopping bag, but alright, so the way you attach, pretty simple. Just find the ends and just tie it in place. That's pretty standard, just like you would do with yarn. Also, if you're casting on, just like with yarn. Alright, so we tie that into place. And now the real trick with this is just to make sure that you're not using really any tension at all. If you use tension, you're gonna tear the plastic. So don't pull. And don't worry about weaving in your ends either. I mean, as you can see, you're gonna have these little tags that hang off. You can clean them up later, but it's just gonna be so tedious to try and weave in every corner, every end that you end up with, because there's gonna be a lot of them. And you actually see as I'm going, I just kind of wrap, and then I don't even pull it as I'm going through the stitch, like no tension at all, because it's very fragile when it's in the strip like this, but once it's actually woven into place, it's nice and strong. I mean, you can see this has got, good amount of stretch to it. It's not going to get torn by corners of boxes, or you can carry 2 liters and so forth in these bags, and they're not going to get ripped. So, I mean, really just kind of nice and loose. And then as you're coming up on the corner in your strip, this is where it's especially fragile. And you need to be really careful. Again, not to use tension. So just wrap and pull. And some of your stitches are going to be bigger than others because you don't have that tension there. But it will all even out, I promise. So this is a great project for getting rid of all those bags that have just been sitting around. I know we all have that big bag of bags. And I mean, it's getting harder to find places to recycle them. But this is, I mean, it's a fairly quick project too. It's nice and easy. It's just standard knitting. It's just you're using a different material. And I find it fun. And also this way, once you have the reusable shopping bag, you can stop getting all of these things cluttering up your house. So Give it a shot. I love these, and I hope you will too.